RJ, in year 2, the Seattle Kraken are headed to round 2. I don't even know, dude. Like,
Can you believe this, Dylan?
I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. I'm still just trying to unclench all the muscles that I had clenched through that insanely tense game. But the bottom line is the Seattle Kraken, they showed up for this one in a big way. They got it done. And I mean, this is the biggest moment in franchise history. We just saw that.
Unquestionably. Easily. We all just saw that. We experienced that together. We lived it together. I mean, we anxiously waited those last, 10 minutes or so. I mean,
Felt like
that
forever.
just felt like forever. But the Kraken got through it. They hung on, and they won, and they're heading on to round 2.
Yeah, they are. It was an incredible win. I mean, the Avalanche came out in this one. That first period was a battle. And it was a battle, honestly, that without Philip Grubauer, the Kraken weren't going to win. But Philip Grubauer, I mean, the first player we have to talk about tonight is Philip Grubauer. One of the best playoff goaltending performances, RJ, that I've ever seen. I've watched a lot of hockey. You've watched a lot of hockey. But what he did tonight, 33 saves, holding them in it in that first period, just unbelievable. Best player, like MVP, everything, you know?
Yeah, no question whatsoever. He stole this game. The Kraken don't really seriously make it out of that first period without him being on the top of his game. And it was just, you can't overstate how important that was. And he's been doing this all series. That's the incredible part, is all 7 games. He's played predictably. He's played really well. This is exactly what the Kraken had in mind when they signed him as a free agent, that he's going to be able to turn the tide of a series for you. And he's done that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He did it in a big, huge, humongous way. Like, just absolutely incredible. Chat's already a mile long. Everybody's feeling it. I just know from Twitter, Discord. I mean, this was an incredible night. RJ, I have to assume at Queen Anne Beer Hall, which brings us these playoff post-game lives. Got to imagine it was incredible there too.
It was, and I'm sure the broadcast showed that as well. It was absolutely rocking there. So glad I got to spend Game 7 there with so many Kraken fans. And I'm only a block down from Queen Anne Beer Hall. I can hear it from my apartment, the celebrations, as soon as the final buzzer ticked down. You could hear yelling, you could hear music going off, you could hear horns honking. It's exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah, we'll get through all the stuff to break it down, but I want to get to all these super chats because they're just flying in fast and furious right now. Starting us off with Schultz, bring on the stars, playoff Gru and video crew, OMG. I mean, that's right. Like, first off, we're done with the Avalanche. Don't have to think about them anymore. Nathan MacKinnon doesn't have to haunt our dreams. Moving on to the Dallas Stars and the green, RJ. Now we got to worry about that.
Right. I mean, hey, it's a whole new challenge, but I think the Kraken are up for it. I'm just glad they don't have to worry about the Avalanche anymore. They made me quite nervous at times.
They really did. Yeah. Anytime you saw, 29 or 96 out there, is scary stuff. Playoff Gru, I mean, we talked about him already, but just like I said, all-time performance. I mean, that's this performance from Grubauer is going to go down in like Kraken legend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it sounds weird because the Kraken's already a legend, but it's going to go down as like the playoff performance for a long time for this franchise. When you think of gigantic playoff performances, everyone is going to think of this Gru Game 7 performance, and we all just got to witness it. So happy for him. If you're watching the TNT broadcast, they ended with an interview with him, and just the smile on his face. You could tell the fans that were there crowded around the glass right where he was feeling it. He shouted out to the fans with his signature smile. It was great.
Love to see that. And he feels it just that little bit extra too, because it's against Colorado.
Yep. And for the second game in a row, RJ, the video coaches coming through, taking a goal off the board, and a goal that would have been, I mean, who knows what happens if that goal stays on for the Avalanche and they tie this game. I mean, they're probably still playing hockey right now. I mean, just absolutely huge. And a group of people that have come up clutch for this team all year long, but again, showing up when it mattered the most.
Exactly. Tim Ohashi and Brady Morgan, they do such a good job. And they had that in Hackstall's ear kind of right even before the goal was scored, probably. I mean, they are so on top of it. 2 games in a row, they take a goal off the board. That's demoralizing for Colorado. And I think you saw the effect throughout the rest of the game.
It frustrates those guys a lot, and they were already frustrated. CR Bud, do you believe in miracles? Yes. Y'all, did that really happen? It did, CR Bud. It really, really happens. This is real life, everybody. The Kraken are going on to the second round of the playoffs. They just defeated the reigning Stanley Cup champions. It took them 7 games, but boy, it just made the journey feel like that much more, I don't know, accomplished, like the tense, fun, like roller coaster, like all it worked. It worked.
This is what you want. Give us the champs, give us the challenge, and they took care of it in the most dramatic fashion too. I mean, what a reward!
Oh, completely. Leanne, I'm up way past my bedtime here in Georgia and have to call it a night, but I feel like we won the whole shebang. I'm bursting with pride. Love you guys. On to the next one. Love you too, Leanne. Been around all season. Absolutely love seeing you in chat and everywhere and on Twitter, everything. Yeah, I mean, this is it. It feels like that because this was the biggest game in franchise history and they just took care of business.
They did, and it was not even close, really. They played some big games earlier in this series where it was the biggest game in franchise history. Yes. This is not just one level. This is 2 or 3 levels above that. How important it was, given the series could swing either way, and they took care of business about as well as you could have hoped to do.
They did. I mean, I want to just highlight two specific areas in which the Kraken really did that. Hits, they out hit the Avalanche 46-23. So they showed up physically. They made sure they were winning puck battles. They made sure they were winning board battles, especially in this one. And that became key, not just when they were killing time, but when they needed to gain possession or they needed to get the Avs out of the zone. That was absolutely huge for the Seattle Kraken tonight. And then also blocks. They outblocked the Colorado Avalanche 29-11. I mean, everybody, forwards, defensemen, everybody was leaving it all out there. They were putting their bodies on the line. They were not going to lose this game, and they didn't. Bottom line, they just didn't.
Everyone putting their body on line. Ty Karche, even. I mean, that big block from him. Everybody.
Yep, making that ice time count on his 22nd birthday. Good on you, bud. Jeff, mother flippin' Grew. Unbelievable win. Bring on Dallas. I mean, Grubauer, again, we won't stop talking about it, but especially, as we look ahead to Dallas, and we won't totally do that until the deep dive tomorrow. But it's going to be, I mean, Ottinger obviously is the big thing to talk about with Dallas, but Grubauer and what he's been able to do, not just this game. This game was, an amazing performance. Super happy for him to get that Game 7 win. First one for him, all of that good stuff. But the bottom line was he was this for the Kraken all throughout this series. He was the thing that kept the Kraken in these games. He kept all these games close. He was that last line of defense for them. He was that wall. And it's just the best feeling in the world. And I'm so happy for him personally, given the struggles he's had since coming to Seattle. For him to have figured it all out here on the biggest stage possible is fantastic.
Yeah, and he kind of needed that after last season. I mean, the season that he had, and just lots of guys sticking with it. You mentioned Bjorkstrand on a tweet earlier in the game too. Just perseverance, and your moment will come if you keep going at it.
Oh my gosh, Oliver Bjorkstrand in this one. He gets the 2 goals, RJ. It was like, I've never seen somebody come so close to getting a hat trick so many times and then just hit so many posts. Like, it was absolutely wild. But you know what? This game was a perfect encapsulation of his season all year long, generating offense, winning puck battles, creating offense for this team, winning the cycle game, all that good stuff. Just snake bitten. That's it.
He could have had 4 or 5 goals, but you know what? 2 was enough.
He had 6 shots, and then there was a bunch more that either went just wide or ring off posts. So, that shot attempt number is probably up around 12. Yep. Habak, Gruby, this team, what will the haters say now? Grubauer stealing the game was the icing on the cake. It really was, Habak. And yeah, RJ, I mean, the Avs fan haters, they'll always find something to talk about. But the bottom line is we're going to wake up tomorrow to nothing but the hockey world talking about the fact that the Seattle Kraken defeated the reigning Stanley Cup champion. This team is for real. They've got a great goaltender. They've got the depth so that on any given night, you can have a third line player like a Bjorkstrand score 2 big goals. Like the whole world is really going to take notice of us now in a way that's, they've kind of fought doing until this moment.
Right. And it took a series win to do that. I think even if you lose this game tonight and, well, okay, well, Colorado finally woke up and the Kraken we're not for real. And you can't deny it anymore. Like you can try all you want over the course of the series, but I think everyone pay attention to the national hockey conversation, watch some NHL Network, listen to some national podcasts and hear what they say about the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, I cannot wait for either the Jeff Merrick Show or 32 Thoughts, RJ. Those, are our go-tos. I cannot wait to hear what they're going to have to say about this for sure. Daniel, haven't seen a playoff game as I don't have cable and ESPN Plus won't show them, but I almost screamed when I got the notification. I can't imagine having to follow this game just on notifications. Oh my gosh, Daniel, that must have added a whole nother level of stress to this. Good on you for doing that. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, this game was absolutely wild. Make sure you go check out the highlights as soon as you can, Daniel. But it was a big game. It was everything that, when we talked about the playoffs, RJ, when we knew the Kraken were coming, whether it was trying to prepare people or just remind everybody, that's already watched playoff hockey, what it can be. This was this is the epitome of it, right? It's game 7, everything on the line, 1-goal game, just every bounce you're holding your breath for to see which way it's going to go. Every time you hear that iron as the puck springs away from it, just all of it. You know what I mean? Every time the goaltender comes out of the crease to challenge. How about Grubauer on that one on Comfort? Oh my God. It's just tense, and it's just raw adrenaline, and you are just running on it. As much as the guys out there on the ice. It's incredible.
We did our what to expect, when you make the playoffs and you're watching playoff hockey podcast, it all just feels so inadequate compared to just watching that game.
Oh yeah. DJ Singleton, my heart was legitimately hurting near the end of that game. It was my grandma's first time watching the Kraken and she loved it. Overall, I couldn't be happier right now. On to the next one. The marathon continues. That is true. Everybody get ready because we get to go do this all again. So if you were stressed, anxious during this one, just be ready for more. That is fantastic for your grandma, though. Could not have picked a better time to show up and watch the Seattle Kraken.
I bet she's hooked on hockey now, though.
You have to be. There's no way you watch that and you're not a fan for life. Absolutely. Let's see. Radical progression. Grubauer. Nah, Gru power. I mean, you can't say it enough. You can't say it enough.
Philip Grubauer.
We haven't even broken him down all that much. Like all the things, like I mentioned, that Comfort save, he did a great job. There were rebounds tonight, but he did such a good job of channeling them away, redirecting them away from the play. They never felt as dangerous as maybe they should have felt just because of how juicy some of them were. But it was really just because he did such a great job of controlling where they were going. You could tell that the Avalanche, they were trying to get him into a tough situation, just like the way they were able to score in the last game, try to get him up high because he really struggles with those rebounds, but he did a great job adjusting to that. He was angling his shoulders to really make sure he can even shoot those out, not just the ones off his pads. I mean, Grubauer stepped up in the biggest way possible for this game, and you could just tell watching him celebrate the moment that buzzer went. Just the way he jumped up into the air before anybody else even realized the game was over. This game meant more to him than maybe anybody else in the world.
Yeah, and I think he played as much of a bigger role than anybody else in the game at winning it.
Yeah, he did. He really, really did. Steve Dog, let's effing go. So happy to root for this team and so thankful to have found Dylan and RJ and this community. So happy to have you, Steve Dog. It's been great seeing you in chat throughout this second half of the year, I think is around when you came in. Yeah, I mean, all about this is fantastic. So happy to get to celebrate it with everybody here. So happy to see everybody on the Discord. So happy to see everybody on Twitter. It's all fantastic. See everybody at Quaydan Beer Hall and 32 Bar and Grill. Just the way Kraken Nation and the city of Seattle are embracing this. It's everything that I could have ever hoped for, RJ, when we knew that Seattle was getting a hockey team.
Right. This is what we imagined, kind of best case scenario, that the city just embracing this team in the way that we all kind of hoped that they would. Lots of new people getting into the sport, everybody celebrating it as much as they have tonight. I mean, just to be up here and see it, it's incredible.
Yep, Tammy with the hashtag back the hack. Let's go. Nice callback.
I think we're all pretty firmly on board with that at this point.
I think so too, but I love the callbacks to the very beginning of the year. Where are the Gru haters now? It's a very good question, Tammy. Treats for Afra. OMG, what a game. And 7 games, 7 first goals. RJ, I've never seen something like this where the team can kick off the scoring all 7 games, right? Like, it's one thing to do it in a shorter series, but all 7.
I know. I kept thinking, what are the odds? Early in this game when it was still 0, like, come on, what are the odds? 7 games in a row. There's no way, and yet they did it again. And you can't overstate the importance of that in winning the series, of scoring first every single game. You start on the right foot, and that's just something I guess that's built into this team's character now after all the bad starts last year. I mean, you talk about comparing this year to last year, like that might be the most dramatic change is after all the bad starts, they score first 7 times in a row.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible, and especially when you have the defense blocking shots the way they were, the defense and the offense winning the board battles the way they were, and especially the goaltending that you had tonight. If you can get an early lead, you're not letting that go, and that's exactly what they did tonight.
Oh,
Get
come on.
the nice big cookie for after.
She's earned all
there.
the treats she wants, I
Oh,
think.
totally. And what a good dog. I did not teach her this, but she knows how to stay exactly in frame to eat these treats. It's incredible. Natural. It's all natural talent from that one. Sergeant Pickles, duds, hoping Cogliano gets well. No Bjorky Hattie, thrice. Andy Ide would have loved this. RIP. I mean, we'll start with those. Obviously, get well, Cogs. The Bjorky Hattie, just it wasn't going to happen. Universe wasn't going to let it, but especially yes for Andy, this whole thing and everything. I mean, it's definitely bittersweet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he would have loved a day like today, not just this game, but the T-Birds also doing what they're doing. I mean, but you know what? I think his legacy, he's a big part of this,
Yes.
of this just even happening, and his role in the hockey scene here for so long. Like, a lot of credit goes to him for this even happening in the first place. And I know that's recognized by the Kraken organization and everybody around.
Yeah, definitely. Studs, Bjorky claps the iron. Jeez. Couldn't even get through it with a straight face. Grew, king of the mountain. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Love the reference there. I mean, yeah, Grubauer, top of the world. I said it in my first period analysis tweet thread, RJ. He had all the hockey gods behind him. He was channeling all of their power. Like, incredible Game 7 performance. It should go up there with all the big ones in all the sports. I absolutely love it.
And one of the ones that got by him, apparently, like, I guess he knew, because this is Sound of Hockey posting this because they're at the game in Denver. Grubauer on the offside challenge. Oh, I knew it was offside before he shot it. Gives a side eye.
Yeah, he did. He knew everything that was going to happen tonight. That's how he made so many of those lateral saves. RJ, some of those saves, like how, like even the like intermission guys on TNT, they got Henrik Lundqvist there, and he's just like, beats me. Like, he's just making these saves. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, you got a legend like that just in awe of what you're doing. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, all of it. And then Bjorkstrand. We'll be talking about this Bjorkstrand game for a long time, probably. What happened and also the what could have beens and just everything involved in it.
Yeah.
But happy for him as well to come in here and get this one. JMG, my heart was in my throat the last few minutes. Do you like the prevent defense strategy Hackstall went with? It's an interesting question. I think the bottom line is whenever, the other team is going to have their goaltender pulled, RJ, when you know that they've got the big guns that are going to go out there for 3 minutes, they're going to take their time out at some point to keep those big guys out there on the ice. It's really, really tough. But I wrote down in my notes, Jay Leach coaching on the bench in that last little bit with the whiteboard, talking to those guys. You saw how engaged they all were, except maybe Adam Larson. But they were all engaged. They were all watching that. And I thought that was an incredible job. And yes, even Hackstall had a couple words to throw in there as well while all that was happening. But the bottom line was he was trusting his assistant coach and he was letting them go and do their job. And they got it done.
They did. And if you look at that whiteboard, which, man, we got a really good look at that whiteboard.
Yeah,
Too good a look at that whiteboard. I don't know.
Yeah, we did.
But they were, he was emphasizing pressure into the outside and pressure the puck carrier. He had those arrows going up towards the Abs players on the outside, and he wanted to kind of maintain that pressure and keep people to the outside. So really good bend but not break defense all game, really.
Yeah, No, it was a great job. Again, defense, blocking shots, winning those puck battles, being physical. All the like they played the complete game that really they'd been missing always one of those elements throughout this series, but tonight when it mattered most, they were able to get it all together. And really, I think a lot of that does come down to the coaching staff, whoever it was in the locker room during that first intermission, RJ, that
Yep.
really pulled them all together and said, your goaltender just gifted you this tie game after what you guys just let happen in front of him. Do not waste that. Come back, reward his effort, get the job done, and they did. And so I don't know who said what during that first intermission all the way around for the Kraken, but whoever it is deserves a big fat gold star for this one because they came out a different team after that first intermission, and it made all the difference for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Ethan's Tech World, Philip freaking Grubauer. He had ice in his veins. I mean, he was just so dialed in start to finish, RJ. I mean, best game ever as a Kraken?
I think so. I think you could make that argument. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's even without factoring in like the moment, but just like I
Hmm.
said, surviving the last 15 minutes of the first period. like it's insane how much he had to stand on his head and really keep them in it at the beginning. I know everything late, coming up with the big clutch saves late in the game to get the win and follow through with all that is huge, but I really don't want to forget what he did in that first period either.
Yeah, no, that first period, without that, I mean, the Kraken are just buried from that point. The game's over. Like, I
Yeah.
believe in their ability to come back, but if he lets in 3 goals, like he probably should have, it's
Yeah,
over.
it completely. Duthin, amazing from Bjorky. All the scoring we needed, baby. See you in Dallas. Oliver Bjorkstrand, RJ, scored on the first night of the season for the Kraken this year in Anaheim. I was in the building. It was like, wow, this guy we stole from Columbus because they were in cap hell. Like, this is what we want from him. He's a fantastic player. We hyped him up all off season. Got off to that awesome start at the beginning. And then we know the struggles as he was shooting. I think it got down to under 2%, his shooting percentage at some point during this season, RJ. But he was
Yep.
out there. And then once they brought in Tolvanen from Nashville and that Yanni Gord, Bjorkstrand, Tolvanen line came together, and that was that line that the Kraken could always count on to generate something. They could always count on to be playing in the offensive zone when that line was out there. And Bjorkstrand was a big part of that, doing the work, digging pucks out, winning puck battles, generating offense, even though they weren't going in for him. And so for him to have stuck with that all year long, despite not really getting rewarded for it in the way that he should have, and to continue to do that through this series and then finally come out with 2 massive goals in this one, I'm very, very happy for him.
And talking to him all year, you had the sense that he knew that if he played that right way and did things, continue to do what he's been doing, that he would get rewarded. So I mean, just great to see that for him.
For sure. Becca with the big super chat here. Thank you so much,
Oh.
Becca. Guys, can't stay for long, but I love this team and the ECH community. Let's freaking go. Love you too, Becca. Been a great part of all this, the post-game lives, Twitter, Discord, all that stuff too. Fantastic to have you around. And yeah, the whole community has been fantastic. It's just been incredible. Get to know everybody throughout the course of the season, to be here to celebrate all this together. Everybody, talking throughout the game on all the different platforms. It's so cool. It's so cool, RJ.
It really is. I never could have imagined this when we started, and yet, like, this is great. We get to experience this with everybody.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about Philip Grubauer tonight, RJ. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about the feelings of watching him and this performance and all of that. But let's be real. This night belonged to one person in the Kraken fan community. And that performance belonged to one person in this Kraken fan community. And that is Medeiros. How's it going, Maya? The super chat here. I am beside myself right now. 971 save percentage. So much doubt. But I knew who Gru was going to be for us. I can't stop yelling about the German gentleman. I'm sure New Orleans is very loud tonight because of you, Medeiros, but you have completely earned it. You are right. You knew back at the beginning of last season. You knew. There's been a lot of haters, a lot of doubters in that period of time. Medeiros has always been there for Grubauer. And yeah, this night, I mean, it's for you, Medeiros. It has
And I'll
to
be honest, I thought about you quite a bit tonight as Grubauer is making some of these incredible saves. And yeah, you knew the whole time. There was never a doubt in your mind. And he rewarded your confidence. Of course he would.
Yes. If I had told you going into game 7, RJ, that Philip Grubauer was going to have a 7 as one of the first 2 numbers of his save percentage, would you have felt confident?
that it was the second one and not the first.
Yeah. But it's incredible. All right. Talk about game 7. The 7's right there. 971. It's big stuff. Big stuff. All right. I've been waiting for this one as well from Gregory here in the super chat. Lemon lime Gatorade time, baby. Right here. Had it.
Oh, are you gonna, Dylan? Let's go, Dylan.
Oh, that was
wow,
by far and away. Gatorade's
you gotta do that at the beer hall. They'll go nuts for you, Dylan.
Yes. Just walk up to the bar. Can I have a Gatorade, please? That was by far and away the sweetest Gatorade had all season long. Gregory, that one was fantastic. Thank you for everything this year, Gregory, all that stuff. I absolutely love it. It's definitely one of the highlights of post game live for me. You have no idea the kick I get out of it.
That was amazing. And we got the chug, the let's go. Everybody's going nuts in chat for that. I mean, they should be.
I was not planning that, but once I had already started taking the sip, I was like, no, we got to go for it.
Coming in clutch like the team. One more thing I want to add, just quick shout on the topic of the lemon lime Gatorade. So my old college roommate, Eric, he's not a hockey fan at all. Like, you know him, but he's been watching along with this series and following it intently. And he was ready for game 7, game ready, with a special concoction that he made of Kraken rum and lemon lime Gatorade. He's been watching these. He drank it. He said it was kind of nasty, but hey, look, it's worth it. Right. So anyway, thanks, Eric, for doing that.
We'll call it the ECH post game live.
We'll try ordering that at the beer hall.
Yes, definitely. Want to get to the rest of Gregory's super chat here. Happy birthday to Cartier for sure. And another big game. You talked about the big block from him, but just the energy he brought and everything. I can't wait to have him potentially stick around. We'll obviously see how things go with McCann next little bit here. Down goes the Avs. Down go the Avs. Road Warriors sure is quiet in Denver. Hashtag happy belated birthday present. That's very right for you, Michael and Gary. Got, birthday present came a couple days later. It was in the mail. What can we say? What can we say? It's true. That arena, RJ, did not feel like a game 7 arena through a lot of that game.
No, it really didn't. I mean, I think the Avs fans were maybe as worried as some of the team has been, over the course of that series. But man, I wonder what it was like to be. I can't wait to talk to some of the media people who were there. As we prep for game 3 and 4 of the second round. I'll be asking for stories for sure.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be some good ones in there, I'm sure. Sherry, MVP 31 Grubauer. Love what you did with the super chat there as well, Sherry. Thank you very much. I mean, we'll be talking about Grubauer for a very, very long time. Probably a good little healthy segment of the deep dive tomorrow, I'm sure, as well. Edward with the super chat here as well. You're the Kraken, still alive and well. ECH dance all night long. Let's go. Love having you in here, Edward. For sure. I mean, this has been the year of the Kraken, 2023. It's just it is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's about time.
They told us early in the year. They had that great run in January, just signaling, hey, it's our year.
Yeah, they did, and it's about time the rest of the NHL figured that out too. Avs fans certainly did. And my God, so much fun. It is. This is the best moment ever in the history of being a Kraken fan, right? We just knocked off the defending Stanley Cup champions. We're going to round 2. We shocked the world. We did it. And it was guys like Grubauer. It was guys like Bjorkstrand. Matty, haven't even talked about him. Young guy stepping up big in a game 7, generating chances, flying around, laying his body on the line. All 6 members of the defense coming up big in this one. Sprong looked all right, even though he got some limited ice time there. Ryan Donato, I think he spent more time on the ground going in for checks and everything than he did standing up. But again, it mattered because it was disrupting what the Avs were trying to do. And I really think that's the legacy and the culture of this team. And it was great to see it all on display in the game 7.
Yeah, top to bottom team effort. I mean, that's how they get it done, though. If you've been watching this team, you know.
Kraken Spectcore. WTF just happened. Someone hold me. I it's the way we're all feeling. I mean, I like, even as we're talking about it now, going through post game, it's like it doesn't feel real anymore. Like, it felt very real at the beginning, and now it doesn't feel real all of a sudden. And I'm sure then going to feel really real. How are we all, any of us, supposed to go to sleep tonight? That's what I want to know.
I'm not. I mean, it's what, about 10 o'clock right now. I'm going to be up till 3 a.m. at the very least.
At the very least, we just do roll into deep dive after this, RJ.
Yeah, we should just record deep dive right after this.
Just keep it going, keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Light super chat here. I want to take this time to thank you all for this amazing season. I love all of you. As a guy who went from a band nerd to a hockey fanatic, it's been thanks to all of you. On to round 2, baby. Thank you so much for being here, Light, as well. We love you too. I mean, it's been great having you around, having you, especially keeping everybody positive through some of those rougher therapy sessions we all have after some of those rough games. You're always in here keeping everybody positive. Definitely glad to worked you into the fold of the ECH community over the course of this year.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I love the band nerd to hockey fanatic thing.
Yeah,
that's a path that my girlfriend took as well. So I know it well. It's great.
Yep, for sure. Noah, tonight renamed beloved dog Ruby to Rubauer in honor of Philip Grubauer's epic postseason performance. I love it, Noah. I absolutely love it. Got to do stuff like that. That's
I feel like there's going to be more than one pet in the city of Seattle that's going to be named after Philip Grubauer tonight. Just like off of tonight's effort.
Totally. There's a lot here. MK Parker with the super chat here. I don't see a message. Let me scroll real quick just to see if it's there.
Oh, here we go. I've been waiting for playoff hockey for 25 years.
And you've got it. You've got it. And you got a series win in a Game 7 round 1. I mean, you got to be so happy. I really do feel for all the hockey fans in Seattle that wanted an NHL team for so long. RJ, you know what I mean? Like we haven't hidden the fact that wasn't us, right? Not native to Seattle. But through this journey, we've met so many hockey fans from Seattle, and how long they've waited for the NHL to come back to come to Seattle, and for it to get there. And like I said, in year 2, to be knocking off the defending Stanley Cup champions, going on to the second round. I just feel so good for all those people. Yeah.
And it's a reward that's well-deserved for the hockey community here too. It's not like just, they're, handed a team in year 2, they're having this kind of success. I mean, there was such a vibrant hockey community here, even before the Kraken existed. I mean, the junior markets, with the Thunderbirds, the Silver Tips, all around here, just the youth hockey. I mean, it has been going for a long time. I think that's something that kind of the league and everyone around needs to recognize as well. Mm-hmm. I'm just so happy that they have this, and we all have this to celebrate.
Definitely. Tammy, we won, Boston lost. Hack Coach of the Year. I mean, it's a shame they vote on it before the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a regular season award, so they nobody knew about this when voting on it, unfortunately.
But it does speak to Hackstall and the job that he's done this year, not just to turn the team around, but this was a battle against a coach that had just won a Stanley Cup, who knew his team really well, knows what buttons he needs to push to get his guys going over there. We saw that throughout this series. Bednar did a great job. But the bottom line is, Dave Hackstall, not just the work he did himself, but again, we highlighted Jay Leach earlier. We talked about the video coaches. It was also the staff that he's put together, bringing in Lowry to help, you know what I mean, to come in and be an extra guy on the bench, to be able to talk to guys, see things, and be able to help strategize. What Hackstall and company have done is really, really incredible. And that's one that I would like to see tomorrow as the national pundits start looking at this Kraken team and talking about it. I'd love for them to maybe mention some of those people as well, because they really do deserve it.
And you know what? He's going to go further in the playoffs than the very, very likely Jack Adams winner for Coach of the Year in Jim Montgomery. I think it's almost certain Montgomery's going to get that award, and Hackstall's team is playing further into the summer than Montgomery's.
It is. Good for him. Zoidberg here. Love it. Kraken with 15 different goal scorers in the first round. The depths are deep.
Love
I
it.
love it, Zoidberg. I love it. Super happy for you. Get some more playoff game action in there for Zoidberg. That's always good to see as well. Kraken fans deserve that for sure.
Yep. And
Um,
I saw Zoidberg at game 6 too, so I know he's been following along with
mhm.
the series.
Lights with another super chat here. Thank you very much. The Avs only lost 4 games last season, the same number the Kraken just handed them. Also, remember when people called Bjorky the Donskoy of this season early on? That aged well. It was a rough stretch for Bjorkstrand, just like it was for Donskoy season 1. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Donskoy could have done this in the playoffs last year. We don't know. They just didn't get to the playoffs. Didn't give him the chance. But I do think that it's worth mentioning that, yeah, the Avs only lost 4 playoff games last year, RJ, in total. Like, it was one of the most incredible postseason runs anybody had ever seen. And here we are just being like, pshaw.
Yep. Just like, oh, that was, that wasn't too hard. But okay, I'm not going to try and just, erase my whole prediction from last year. I know I called the Avs paper tigers and everything, but one of my main points was when they face adversity, they can't ultimately get through it. The Avs never trailed in a series last
Mm-hmm.
year. Never did they trail in a playoff series. The Kraken made them trail from game 1. They made them trail again after game 5. And I don't know, it just, the Avs couldn't close it out.
No, they couldn't. And not only that, RJ, the Kraken made them trail to start all 7 games.
That's right.
Like,
I think more importantly, yeah, that's what they did.
that's a big one too. Yeah, it's true. And you know what? Like I said, I do want to give them credit for this one. They came out swinging in the first period. Like, it was one of the most, that was arguably the best they've looked throughout this entire series. They just happened to run into Grubauer, who just said, "No, that's it. No, sorry, it doesn't matter." And then from there, the Kraken were able to regroup, make the adjustments they needed to, find that inner strength, get some stuff going. But I do want to give the Avalanche credit. They did put up a good fight. Anytime it goes to 7, it means both teams did. But yeah, the bottom line was Kraken won this game. They showed up for the full 60 and not just the first 20. Kraken hockey, who needs home ice? Lol, let's go Kraken. It's true, RJ. It was a season of Road Warriors. They kept it rolling. This is why I felt pretty good about them going into the playoffs as a wild card team.
Yeah, and I thought it was probably better going into it that they actually didn't have home ice advantage. It very much played out that way. With
Yeah.
them doing really well in Colorado, going 1-2 at home, not the best. But you know what? They go right into Dallas and they get right back on the horse. Game 1 is on the 2nd, so just one day off, and then it's like a continuation almost of the schedule from this series. And I think that really benefits them. It's just like a road trip. Go out there, do your thing.
Yeah, they've talked all year long how they kind of like that rhythm of the every other day thing. Their record has proven it whenever they've been in that situation. And yeah, you get to continue being on the road as you go to Dallas. I think that helps them as well. And didn't they win the one game in Dallas this year? Wasn't that their one?
Yes, they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
their one win
So
against Dallas, it was on the road. So
yep. So I
there you
like
go.
seeing that as well. Yeah, and I also like it because, we didn't talk about this too much during the regular season with them being the Road Warriors, but the bottom line is it showed up big in this series. When you have the depth that they do and the way Hackstall rolls those top 3 lines, it takes the biggest advantage of home ice in the playoffs kind of away from you, that ability to line match, because Hackstall's just like at any given time going to throw out any of those 3 lines. And so it kind of takes away from whatever team it's going to be. In this case, it'll be Pete DeBoer with Dallas. How do you deal with that? Like, you kind of can't. You can't plan for it. You can't take advantage of this thing that's supposed to be your advantage.
Right. When you've got that line matching, one of the whole points is to target the other team's weakest point. And
Mhm.
the Kraken don't really have a weak point. I mean, we've kind of learned this all season, and it really just takes that out of the equation. And Dave Haxtell's been upfront about it too. He said, we're not a hard match team. We haven't been all
Yep.
season. We're not gonna start now.
Yeah, for sure. Sean here, another name. Love seeing in these post-game lives. Thank you, ECH, for making this season just that much sweeter. You all do a wonderful job. And yes, I'm including Afra. And then with the big Gru. Well, thank you very much, Sean. That's a nice big super chat there. Really, really appreciate it. And appreciate you hanging out in all the post-game lives as well, contributing to the community, all that good stuff. And that goes for everybody, but like it's so fantastic to get to know these names, see them all. They all feel like friends. I love that part of it, RJ.
Yes, thank you so much, Sean, and way to give Afra some well-deserved credit. She
Yes.
does do a great job.
Yes, definitely. She does a great job making crumbs in my bed. All these post games is what you mean, RJ. So that's what she's doing real good. JMG really love the tradition of the handshake line at the end of the series. Hockey really stands alone in sportsmanship over the other pro sports. I mean, it does. Do you want to take this one away, RJ? I know you like it a lot as well.
I do too. I mean, yeah, I really like it. It's one of the best traditions in sports. I know it's kind of got to the point of a cliche at this point, like, oh, the best tradition in sports. You hear it on the broadcast all the time, but it is really great that after such a hard fought series, and I think this was a really good example through 7 games, a lot of nastiness, a lot of animosity, that everyone kind of puts that aside and kind of congratulates each other for a well played, hard fought series at the end of it. And you see that just kind of going down the line where everybody participates. And it's just a good moment to cap off every single playoff series.
It really is, and that's why didn't want to start this post game live too fast. Definitely wanted to make sure we could see that one, and it is really cool, especially after a series like this. Right, there's been some tough moments on each side because of things,
Yep.
and for everybody to come together and just acknowledge that what they're all there for those same reasons. Right, everyone's there to play this game. And you have your different reasons for doing that, but the bottom line is you do respect the guys on the other side of the ice no matter what, and to go through the way they did,
Yeah.
and it's really cool that they're
For
able to
everyone
do
to
that.
do that. Yeah, and Carlos saying Sean Avery has entered the chat. Okay, almost everyone.
Almost everybody, yes, almost everyone. Love the call out there. Braun, you two made every step of this team's creation so much better. This moment wouldn't be as sweet without this channel. So of course I'm hyped for Kraken, but me and mine are also very thankful for you two. Braun, you're gonna make me cry on post game. Don't do that. You can't
Braun.
do that. No, it's been fantastic having you around too, Braun. I mean, through season 1, all the tough times, all the therapy sessions you and all the other OG people in here have had with us. It was really, really special to go through all that stuff, and really happy that you're here with us and we all get to celebrate this big moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. James, I'm getting a dog just so I can name it Lenny Wilkins. What a win, what a season. Let's keep the fun rolling in the next round. I love it. Hear that, Afro? You're gonna have company. You're gonna have company. Where are you going? There you are.
She's running away because she's gonna have company.
Yeah, she's like, oh no, I gotta get out of here. No. Daryl, yes, I'm out of my mind. Travel money for Dallas. You guys rule. Thank you, Daryl. So another one in here a lot. Love to see it. And yeah, we're gonna have to talk about Dallas now.
I know
RJ.
we're gonna have to have a discussion here, Dylan, after this. We definitely didn't want to look ahead really too much and just jinx it or anything. So we did not talk about Dallas. We did not say Dallas. But I think we're gonna have to talk about Dallas after this post game is over.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. Speaking of Dallas, Gilberto here with the one late getting into chat. Glad you all are still here tonight. What a game! If nobody got us, I know Groovy got us. Can I get an amen? See you all in Dallas. Yeah, amen.
Amen.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, this was a crazy game from Gru there. And then Mark here, so happy for Grubauer and Bjorkstrand. It's cool to see two guys whose stats haven't reflected how big they've been for this team step up and have their moment in game 7 on to round 2. I mean, Mark basically just took what we've been trying to say all night and put it into words and summarized it very nicely. But that's totally what it is whether it's, Bjorkstrand coming over, the hard work, the perseverance we talked about, going after it shift after shift all year long. And then obviously Grubauer battling through last season, this year, the injury this year, watching Martin Jones take his job essentially for a while, right? And then to fight back through all of that, put himself in a position to be the guy for the playoffs and then have this playoff performance. Massive.
Yeah, huge for the two of them. And I mean, there's just so many good storylines this season. And that's what happens when you have an organization that does things the right way. These things tend to fall into place.
Oh, completely. Like it's the way it goes. Totally. Wow. That's all just been super chats this whole
44
time.
minutes of super chats. That is easily a new record.
Oh my gosh. Thank you all so much. I'm going to go back through in regular chat here and we'll be picking and choosing stuff from throughout for sure. I'm just checking my notes to talk about, see if there's anything that I want to talk about that we hadn't gotten to. through the
Right.
super chats.
I mean, there's
RJ,
so much to break down from this game and this series. Like, maybe we should just record the deep dive tonight. Like, it's gonna would take an hour to get through it all.
it really will. I wanted to highlight Borgen having a giant
Mm-hmm.
game tonight. He stopped a lot of passes, stayed in there, big hits, all that good stuff.
Giant series. I'm gonna be gushing about him so much during
Yeah,
the deep
yeah,
dive.
you called it. You called it for sure. RJ, you put out an incredible tweet earlier today with all of the Kraken who have played in the Game 7 in the playoffs and what their records were. Okay. And they
Mm-hmm.
were 16-5 going into this one. Everybody gets another win there, but especially guys like Adam Larson, Philip Grubauer, who hadn't had their wins yet. I think that was incredible. But you look at a guy like a Jaden Schwartz, who was 4-0, now 5-0. I mean, he played a huge game in this one, putting his body on the line, just getting pucks out of the zone or keeping things murky in the neutral zone. That's going to be my takeaway from Jaden Schwartz in this one. Love to see that. Yeah, I mean, I think we just about talked about everything else. Oh, the other thing was only one penalty in a Game 7, the way it should be.
Yep. But it's worth talking about after the Kraken took way too many penalties in Game 6.
Mm-hmm.
They learn lessons. They adjust. I mean, more credit to Hackstall and the coaching staff, but they know when things do go wrong, they know what goes wrong, and they make a big effort to fix it. And you saw it here tonight.
Yeah, and it was that was a penalty from Vince Dunn. You could have called that.
Oh, for sure.
You called it tripping. You could have called it holding. You could have called it interference at that point. It was everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was big. And let's be real, for the Seattle Kraken team, low penalty games fits them perfectly. They don't have to go out there with the power play. That's the way they want it. They want to be on the road, and they don't want to have a power play. That's the hallmark of this team.
Perfect.
Dream scenario, and they got it tonight. From Zame, so busy doing other things tonight, but wanted to stop by and at least say hi with a super chat and know that even though I'm not in chat, I'm elated with everybody here in spirit. I can imagine you're busy tonight for sure. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you, Zame, and great to see you during Game 6, and looking forward to seeing you for Games 3 and 4.
Yes, that is definitely true. Absurdly Sane, love this team, love you guys on to Dallas. Love you too, Absurdly Sane. I know Afrid shares that sentiment as well.
For sure.
Thanks for the super chat. And again, another OG, been around through everything last year and stuff. Love having you in here. Hockey Mom, big thank you to Jen for supplying us with great home game pictures. Yes, that is going to be almost like the entire video version of the next deep dive. RJ, I'd already thought about it. I just want it wall to wall pictures from Jen over the course of this entire season, because I mean, I can't think of a better way to celebrate it.
Yep, the Kraken aren't the only ones who made the clutch addition in the off season, for starting this season that has been paying dividends and is, the reason that we're here. Jen has been absolutely awesome for us all season long. It's been great getting to know her, get to see, her creative side and everything that she can bring. Mm-hmm. And she just adds this whole nother dimension to Emerald City hockey that we are so, so grateful for. And there she is in chat, smiling there. Yep. So I knew she was there watching this. Thank you so much, Jen.
Yes, if you've ever seen us on Instagram this season, it's because of Jen. Yep. Our Instagram would be nothing without Jen. 1000%. And yeah, one of the things on my off-season to-do list is going to be to work with Jen and work with you, RJ, on just more ways that we can get the picks out there and use them and everything for sure, because definitely deserves to have her work shown more. DJ Singletone, Jamie Alexiak has been more than worth his contract in this series. I retract any slander I might have thrown on his name during the regular season. All right, you took your victory lap on Will Borgen, RJ. Jamie Alexiak was my X factor for the Kraken in this one, and he did. That pairing stepped up massively. Right, the one word I think we could have used to describe them once they were put together that second half of the season was inconsistent, and yet here they showed up every single game. They both played fantastic. Alexiak, maybe he got a little bit more physical. I'll give him credit for that. He did the impossible. He threw the body around a little bit there. But the big thing for me was just, how much he used his stick. And that was the thing that I wanted to see from him, was just for him to be a little bit more disruptive, tie up guys net front. You don't have to be, leveling them all along the boards and all that stuff. But if you can just use your body to move guys out of the way, allow Philip Grubauer to see the puck, so he could stop
What a
the puck.
concept.
What a concept. But it worked. And that's what we saw in this series. So big love for Jamie Alexiak for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And that pairing, we figured on paper they were built for the playoffs. We now know that's the case in real life.
Yes, definitely. And then Becca here with super chat, beer for Jen. Love it.
We can make
Absolutely
that
love it.
happen.
Definitely can make that happen. Totally love it. Love all the support for Jen there. Yeah, I'm looking at the box score now, RJ. Care to guess how many hits Adam Larson had tonight?
Let's see, 7.
No, it was actually
go high.
10. I would have also
Oh, wow,
accepted
okay.
a lot.
Okay.
Also,
Well, I was thinking in the general terms of a lot, but yeah, no, 10 definitely qualifies as a lot.
yeah. The one that surprised me, Jamie Alexiak with 8. So yeah, I guess he did throw the body around in this one. The other thing, Alexiak in this series, lots of ice time, over 24 minutes tonight from him. But shout out to Adam Larson, over 27 and a half minutes in a game 7. That's big. That's really big. Especially in a game where the Kraken, let's be real, they in the first period for sure, and then also in the second period, they struggled to get line changes. Guys were caught out there for very long shifts, and Adam Larson was definitely one of those guys. But they bended, but they didn't break, and
There was a
that's
lot
a
of
really
that
important thing
tonight,
Yep.
and this, you were a big part of it. I mean, and Adam Larson, aside from the goalies, nobody spent more time on the ice than he did tonight.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think RJ, as I go back up in the chat here, we need to get the Guinness Book of World Records in here to just see the most amount of times that grew with at least 6 U's has ever been typed into one live stream, because I guarantee you we broke that record tonight.
Oh yeah, this has to take it. Nothing else can compete with that.
So shout out to everybody who left one of those. I see them all for sure. Cody with the all caps, we run 4 lines. We do, and we did in this game, and Hackstall has trusted that. He's trusted all 4 of those lines. And just as has been the case for most of this season, RJ, they walked away with a win for it. I love that about this team. Really, really love that. Nicole, this isn't real. They did it. It's real. It's real. I'm back to feeling like it's real, RJ, by the way. It's definitely, I've worked all the way back around to there. Michael with the hey, what do you effing say? Like the play on Forsland there.
Yep.
Also, Michael, every single person in this group owes Gruby and Medeiros an apology, including myself. It's true. Absolutely true.
We just line those up in chat one after one.
Yes. Medeiros with the Philip Grubauer is an icon. Coop, I legit texted my dad at 5:25 today. I'm feeling Bjorky and Turbo for goal scorers tonight. I need to buy a lotto ticket. Hurry, Coop, before it goes to midnight. Get out there. Find the 7-Eleven still open. Also, Coop in here with the Gru. I take back everything I've said about you over the last 2 years. For sure. Ty point out both number 1 seeds fall in game 7s today. It's true. I mean, we talked about road stuff not really mattering for the Kraken. Maybe it just doesn't matter in the playoffs anymore, RJ.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. Anything can happen. And kind of going along with that, there's so many good chats at the bottom here, but this one from Tom. Silly EA Sports predicting a Bruins versus Kraken final. What were they thinking picking the Bees? Shows how far AI still has to go. And yeah, you remember that. They did a they did a Stanley Cup simulation prediction. And yeah, it turns out the Bruins part was, I guess, the worst of the picks.
Yeah, and but that's what we all thought when we saw it, right? Like, that's that's not how playoff hockey works. The team that breaks the all-time record for points and wins in a season, they don't get out of the first round. That's not how playoff hockey works. That's why this is the best system ever, RJ, for determining a champion over a 9-month sort of thing.
We can have that debate on Red Glare over the offseason.
No, I'm over it. I'm over it. It's stupid. It's dumb. The Kraken are going on to the second round. This is the perfect system. It's all good. Short sample sizes where one team gets to just win on the road. I love it. I'm all for it now.
Keep it going.
Definitely. Shoeshine, I was having chest pains all game from the anxiety. Tell me about it. I'm going to need to crush this bottle of Tums here. I think after this to go to sleep.
Yeah. You see the super chat here from TQT77 checking in from New Zealand to say absolutely stunning game tonight. Let's go Kraken. Can't wait for round 2. That's pretty awesome. Checking in from New Zealand. And I love that we have fans just from everywhere watching along with us. I mean, it really is truly a global community that we have here.
No, we do. I love checking the YouTube analytics, RJ, to see where everybody's at. Big presence in Australia. I know some names in here that have been in Australia. Um, we got that New Zealand, yes. All the Scandinavian countries throughout all of Europe. Like, it's so cool, so cool.
That's awesome. So
Absolutely
thank you for that
fantastic.
super chat. And while we're on the topic, here's this one from Scott Stevenson. Hey, all, checking in from Canberra, Australia. How in the world am I supposed to go out to work now when I'm so pumped from the game? I know it sucks to have a whole work day ahead of you now, but just be thinking about the game. If you can kind of mentally get away even a little bit, just relive that in your head.
I know. Think about that. Think of Barbara right over
Yep.
in Europe. All of it. Oh, I love it so much. It's so cool. It's so cool. The internet's a wonderful place. Sometimes. Michael, two favorite teams growing up were Avs and Stars. Let's make it 2 for 2, shall we? Yes, let's just beat up on Michael's childhood there.
Yes.
That's what we're doing. I think Michael will be on board with that right now.
Yeah.
Bahrain, that game was terrifying, but the win is so sweet. It really is. It really
Yeah.
is.
Super chat here
yeah.
from Aaron. So we're here for a Florida versus Seattle final, right? Great job, boys. I am definitely here for it. I've been here
Yes.
for it since before the playoffs started. If you look at the bracket challenge, I submitted another bracket in the Kraken's bracket challenge league that has the Kraken beating the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final. That bracket was my, if everything goes the exact way I'd want it to go, bracket. Which I always like to fill one of those out every year. Just if it's a perfect year for me. It was a Kraken versus Panthers Cup final. So still in play.
So it's definitely still in play for sure. Are you allowed to enter the Kraken's bracket challenge, RJ?
Hey, if I win it, I'm giving the prize out to someone in the community.
I know. I kind of thought the same thing when I entered, but I entered my same bracket from the ECH bracket pool, and I don't want to say it, but I had Dallas winning the cup, so that can't happen
Well,
now.
got to diversify, Dylan.
That definitely can't happen now. Stratic, our boys were so poised using their friends in the D zone, not just making panic clears. It's true. And like there was a couple moments where they started to get that way, but I've never seen the Seattle Kraken team pull it together, for lack of a better term, than they did in this one. And I don't just mean during that first intermission, but they did a really good job surviving to get to that first intermission. It wasn't all just Grubauer. The Kraken D did also a good job of just, they got the clears when they absolutely had to. They were able to get those line changes. Credit to the forwards for helping out and all of that as well, winning the board battles up high against the Kraken D men. It was a big part of that as well.
And even when you're stuck in that cycle of just defend, clear, which is not ideal, and I did criticize that quite a bit. You need to get out of that cycle, but there's a big difference between just clearing the puck out, living to see another day, and making a dangerous clearing attempt that gets intercepted, and those often end up in the back of your net, and they did a really good job avoiding those.
Oh, definitely. Looks like a super chat from
Here
Jules
from
there.
Jules. Want me to cover that one?
Yeah.
After the wrestling match I worked, we put the Kraken game on inside and outside. We made new Kraken fans tonight with people cheering for us. That is awesome.
Sweet.
Get those wrestling fans in on hockey. They're going to love what they see. Keep growing the game. Keep doing your part. Thank you so much, Jules, for that and for the super chat.
Definitely. Loving hearing all the stories from your work over the course of this season, Jules. And yeah, I mean that would be down here in LA, right? So creating Kraken fans in Kings country, because you know what? Only one of those two teams is going to the second round, and it is not the Kings. And
we know LA wants to back a winner always. So
always
they'll hop right on board with that.
That's how LA fan rolls.
Yeah, call to action for everyone. I'm sure you're all already doing this, but like we got a whole nother playoff series coming up. Show all your friends, everybody that you know, bring them over to your house, show them a Kraken game, go out somewhere, go to the beer hall, whatever it is, and show them some playoff hockey. Get them in on this. This is a great opportunity. We're going to see some really cool stuff.
For sure. Looks like another super chat there from CR.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Yep.
Anyone see Gru's leap at the final whistle? He got serious air on skates and goalie gear. Yes, I caught that, and yes, it made me so happy.
It was so happy. And like I said earlier, he did that before like anybody else had like finished stopping play. Like he knew exactly as that final thousandth of a second ticked off. And he was so happy. Like everybody else was just like taking a breath, like, oh my gosh, it's over. And Gru is just like, ah! And that's why I was so happy for him. You could tell that he wanted this. He wanted a Game 7 win on his resume, and he went out there and he literally did everything he could to make it happen. And I love when guys do that, RJ. I love when any athlete is able to do that in any sport. When they're able to go out there and have that big time performance when all the lights are on, when everybody's watching them, when, you know, in a team sport like this one, where at times the team in front of him struggles, but he was there for it. I just think that that's one of those coolest things ever, when you can see somebody just go out there and get into that mindset of, I'm not losing tonight, and then not lose. Like, I just think it's so special.
And talking to Philip Grubauer over the course of this season, and especially talking to Chris Drieger, he always kind of plays that aspect up. But that's a reason why a lot of these guys chose to become goalies from a young age. What they love about the position, among other things, but is that you can just have this huge impact on a game. And when you are on your game and you decide, no, we're going to win tonight, you can usually make it happen.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, we've both seen massive goaltending performances in the playoffs or in individual games, RJ. I'm telling you, again, this one's right there with all of them. It just is. Josh can't type, too excited, hands shaking. What is punctuation? Pinch me, I'm dreaming. I really like that one, because that was me like trying to get the stream started.
I know.
Alex got all this with barely any canner, no Berkey, little offense from the top guys, defies belief to me still, but happy to see it. I mean, it's true. Like, there's still, in ways, growth that this team could kind of easily incorporate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can be better even than what they just were.
Right. I mean, and you don't get a single goal from Jared McCann the whole series. Like, I think if we had known that going in, whatever the circumstances of it were, we'd figure they had no chance. And they still do that without that. And Andre Burakovsky, of course, not playing at all. Yeah, there are still levels they can hit. And I don't know. I don't think there's an update on Burakovsky. I wouldn't expect him back against Dallas, but if they keep going, it's the playoffs. Anything's possible. There are reinforcements potentially on the way.
Definitely. And, you know, again, credit to all the guys who have stepped up to fill in those gaps as well, right, along the way too. Like, it speaks to the depth, the organization that they've got going on, all that good stuff. Dexter, I'm exhausted. Go Kraken. I know the feeling. Let's see. Puck Guy, the glow. I had it in 94. Enjoy it in 2023. Kraken fans, good luck around two. Appreciate that. Krakenok, 4 years ago, this team, this community wasn't even a thing. Now we have a Seattle NHL team, and we just won our first playoff series against the defending Stanley Cup champions. Look at us. We talked about it earlier, RJ, but again, it's crazy to think about. Like, it's crazy to think about, like, going back, thinking of some of the first videos we did before the expansion draft and stuff, and then to be sitting here in not that much time. Like, I you know, you hope for something like this, but to have it actually happen is another thing entirely.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back and look at some of those older videos too. Every time I do it, it really puts things in perspective as far as, you know, where we all were, and even with the expansion draft, just some of those players, a lot of them gone now, but some of them making big impacts. A lot can change in a short amount of time, and you could go really far. And we're all seeing the effects of that right now.
For sure. And, you know, the first free agency, bringing in somebody like Jane Shorts, bringing in Grubauer. I remember us scrambling around trying to make a video about those moves, RJ, in your little apartment up there that first summer. And then for Grubauer to go out there and do this, really cool. Really cool. Dexter Bjorky with the most Bjorky game ever. Like that. Dan, my wife in the other room, is like, why do you keep yelling Bjorkstrand? Because of all the chances at the hat trick, I'm sure. Because that's what we were all doing. Eric with another one, thinking about Andy. Definitely. G Singleton, you guys are gonna make a fortune tonight. We might have. Thank you everybody who gave the super chat.
Thank
really
you
appreciate
so much.
It. I was legit gasping for breath when the clock hit 0. Oh, for sure. We all were. Like I said, just trying to relax. Even still, Alex, I can eat chicken parm again without having flashbacks. Talk about moments from the history of the Seattle Kraken, RJ, that'll stick with us all forever. Chicken parm.
Hey, you know what? When I was in Vegas for that last road game in Vegas, I gave him a little boost. I did order chicken parm at the Venetian, so
There you go.
We'll see.
Good on you. Good on you. Declan saying, I don't want to hear the name McKinnon for at least a year. Well, after I just said it, you won't have to for a while. Really like it. All right, Jen, photographer Jen coming in. So Dave Lowry was there with the Panthers as a brand new expansion team in the Stanley Cup Finals. Just saying. Talked about him earlier a little bit, RJ, when talking about Hackstall and the coaching staff. I mean, coincidence?
I don't know. I mean, he has been, very important to this coaching staff, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jen generally knows that stuff with the with Dave Lowry. I know she's a big fan.
Definitely.
So that's pretty cool.
It's definitely cool. And you know what? Adam Lowry out of the playoffs now, so all that playoff magic of being like a goal per game guy can just throw it his dad's way. It's all good.
There you go. Yeah, the Lowry magic
It's
concentrated now.
it's concentrated now on the Kraken bench. I love it. I love it. Looks like another
Super chat here from
Light.
Light. Edzo came on the root feed at the very end to sign off for the last time this season. And I'm not going to lie, definitely cried over it. That's right. This is the end of the root broadcasts.
Yeah, that is true. I hadn't thought about that. We'll have to definitely give them a send off on the deep dive.
For sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird for like just not to have all that going on. You know what I mean?
I know. I mean, I'm
mean,
sure they'll be around. Like I'll see them, but it's gonna be different.
It's definitely going to be different. I mean, we'll still get Forsland and Eddie on national broadcasts.
That's
so
true.
That's something. We're going to still get them calling games. Be really cool if they can schedule them for some Kraken games. I think that'll be really fun. Especially because like Eddie was like clearly trying to hold back sometimes talking about the Kraken in a slightly more, I'm doing a stream for them and their fans rather than for everybody way. And I like that. But yeah, they've done an incredible job all season long. I think, talk about all the new people, new to hockey, new Kraken fans. I think the Root broadcast team is a big part of all that.
For sure. I mean, it's a top-notch broadcast team. You just can't beat it. And it is one of the unfortunate things about playoff hockey. There aren't too many, big downsides, but you only get your home broadcasters for one round, no matter who you are. And you got to say this goodbye. But, at least you send them off the right way. I mean, you get one big final celebration and goodbye, but keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Just talk about that. I mean, I don't know if this is looking too far ahead or it's just appreciating where we are. It's a little bit of both from Joey. 4 wins till we're in the Western Conference Finals.
That's kind of scary. I don't know.
It's both, right? It's both. It's both is the bottom line because it's like, wow, we're in this situation where that's all it would take to get there. But also at the same time, it's like, yeah, but those 4 wins are not going to come easy. It's still impressive though. It's still impressive. Yeah. Can we call the Kraken Rum Lemon Lime Gatorade the Hack Attack? Well, I like that. I like that.
I like the Hack Attack. I know Eric was in your chat a little bit later, just saying now I'm gonna have to drink this cursed brew every time.
Yep,
gotta take one for the team, Eric.
That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Oh man. X-Kid Z, hey Dylan, RJ, and everyone. I have no words, just all the superlatives. Amazing, incredible, unbelievable. Tell me about it, X-Kid Z. Especially talking about Grubauer after a game like this one. I really needed to have the source up on the laptop.
Taking it from last game.
Yep. A lot of people in here talking about being band nerds back in the day and everything. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Definitely.
Love that.
Daniel, for a lifelong Seattle fan, so grateful for you guys keeping hope alive. I know there was a lot of people on Discord today. I definitely walking around, everybody being like trying to prepare for the Seattle to happen. But it didn't because they were in Colorado.
Yep. Hey, Seattle stays winning over Colorado on the sports scene.
That's
love to see it. Do we know if Russell Wilson was at this game?
Oh, that's a good point. I have no idea. Doubt it.
I don't know. The way it turned out, I think maybe he would be there.
Yeah, I don't know. Casey, every child that's born in Seattle this week will be named Philip or Grubauer or both. 100%. 100%. All of them. Name them all.
Yeah.
Little baby Grus everywhere. I love it.
Yeah. If I had a kid this way, just Philip Grubauer Eskidos, Philip Grubauer Travers. That sounds good.
Yep. Becca been teaching my Runderman Darla to grew with me. Oh my gosh, that must be so cute, Becca. Oh, that's gotta be so cool. let's see.
Here, I want to point this out at the bottom
Yeah.
of chat here from Coffee Tar, rejoicing in Korea as well. It's 2:30 p.m. Monday here.
Oh, oh, I love it. I love it. I know. I was thinking about that. Like,
The
it's
community
almost.
is celebrating tomorrow, Dylan.
I know. Well,
Tomorrow afternoon.
I know. We talk about that with the Australia people and everything. Like, it's almost like getting close to what, Tuesday there. Like, it's crazy. Got like a 24-hour whole clock going in these. But Korea, that's awesome. That's so cool to see. Um, very late as I was celebrating with friends. So thrilled for this win from SJ. Oh, totally, totally. Joey, remember when we started 1-2 and 2? Hackstall had to calm this team down. Hey, some of us believed. Some of us believed.
Yep.
And it came
Oh man,
through for us.
those losses to Vegas and Carolina very early in the season, they did set off some panic. I mean, I'll admit I was a little bit worried, but hey, they had it taken care of.
Definitely, definitely. Let's
Super chat
see.
here from Jeff.
Yeah.
Thanks for the great coverage, guys. We are lucky to have you invested like us all on this great ride. I mean, we're lucky to have you. We're lucky to have all of you. I mean, just this is so awesome. I run out of words for it. How great this is to be able to do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, I used all the superlatives on Grubauer earlier, but it is really cool, and you're very welcome, Jeff. Thanks for being a part of it as well, and that goes for everybody. I like this from Absurdly saying the boys proved tonight that our mountains really are better than theirs. Talking to Stray Attic, like
Can't
to
argue with
get
that.
that. And Mike, yes, he was at the game. Saw it on Twitter. So there you go.
Yep.
That's the best confirmation. Yorkshire just being a nice guy, didn't want anyone to lose their hats, so elected to hit posts instead from Striatic. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yep, very considerate, although maybe not as considerate of us who had to sweat that out at the very end.
Oh, I know, an insurance goal or two would have been okay, Bjorkstrand. That might have actually done more good for everybody and their all of our hearts and stomachs and everything.
Yeah, hearts over hats.
I saw something in here from Alex about the Gourd for C campaign continues. Oh man, this is going to be a heck of an off-season battle, RJ, about who needs to be captain after all of this.
Right, but this series though, does this not just prove further that they don't need a captain?
Yeah, I think so. I totally think so. Like,
there's leadership everywhere in every
Yeah.
way. This team, as they're built right now, just does not need a captain.
Right, and we've seen that through this series. Whenever they needed it, I talked about it earlier with that first intermission. Like, whoever it was in there that got that done, player or coach, it was necessary, and the guys listened and they responded, and that's the biggest thing. It's one thing to have guys with a C on their sweater, the guy that can stand up in a room and say what needs to be said and all that, but it's also something when, really that can only take you so far, because you need everybody else on the other side of that equation to listen and really take that and go out there and execute on what's being said. And I think that's what makes this Kraken group so special, is that they've done that every step of the way. Is they've just gone out there and they've responded and they've listened and they've made the adjustments they need to. And I think that that's really cool. James, want to keep it fun, so we'll make this super chat get talked about a lot, but maybe in deep dive you could talk more to Dunn's playoff woes, rare Kraken dark cloud after round one. He stepped on a little bit as the series got on, but yeah,
we'll talk about it for sure.
Yeah. We'll talk about hacking the forward lines. Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's all so good stuff. It's all so good. I mean, I could go through chat forever here. We do have to go do an interview though, RJ.
Yeah, we do.
I know we have to do that. So let's do
here real quick. Mr. Jami77, totally worth it to wake up at 4:30 in Finland to watch this game 7. Let's go Kraken. Love the Finns. More Finns, more wins. Love that. I couldn't see that and not read it.
Oh, yes. Oh, and here we go. Lindsay also coming in. My beer league team may have lost, but the Kraken won, and I'm on cloud 9. Ah! I'll get you in here, Lindsay. Sorry about the loss, but yeah, I mean, Kraken game 7, priorities.
Yep. You take that trade-off, as tough as it is. You'll be back. You'll be back next season. I know definitely. Anchor management will rise again.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, everybody, thank you all so much for being here for this one. This was an incredible post-game live. Thank you to everybody for all the super chats. I mean, this it's so special to be able to share these moments with you all. Like, it really does mean a lot. I know I say that like every time we hit these moments, but it's just because we've been hitting so many in a row here. But it's true each and every time.
Yeah, and when that happens and you just keep hitting these moments, day after day, you do stop and think about just how grateful you are. And I cannot thank you all enough for being part of this community and for allowing Till and I to do what we do. I mean, we are really living the dream, and it's all thanks to you. And we're kind of living that stuff together. And I can't wait for another series. I was obviously hoping the Kraken would win tonight. And you kind of sit back and you think of, well, why is that the case? I just didn't want this to stop. Enjoying all of this
Yeah.
with all you, just the fact that it would extend the season, the fact we get to go do more of these post games, the fact that I'd get to meet more of you over the coming weeks, like that's really what it was all about. And I'm just so excited that we get to keep doing that.
Yep, couldn't said it better myself. So thank you everybody for joining us. Go celebrate, have safe nights. If you can get to sleep, get to sleep. Good on you, because I don't think that's coming anytime soon for me. But thank you all for being here. And yes, get to say see you all next time, which is awesome.